minutes. Or you can also write to us on our YouTube live chat. We'll pick your questions from there as well. Now, before we get into it, let me introduce you to the guests for today. We have Gaurang, Shah of Geojit Financial Services and Rajesh, Palviya of Axis Securities. Welcome to both of you and thanks for joining again. Now, Alex, tell us, we've seen the markets are touching record high today. Tell us what's moving the markets today and also what are we focusing on?
Well, it is, in fact, a day of records. You have the benchmark index up as much as 1/3%. In fact, Smriti, I'm going to ask you to take over because I've kind of lost my...
Sure, let's Nifty, as Alex said, is up 0.4% at this juncture. Let's also look at the broader markets and see where they're at. Let's look at the Nifty Midcap 100 there. It's actually 0.6% up, so doing much better than the benchmark index as of now. Nifty Small Cap also up about 0.6%. A great day for markets, touching records high. Let's also pull the Nifty contributors and see what is pulling the index up today. If we can have the, yes, there you have it. You have the likes of ICICI Bank, ITC pulling the index up. There's also Bharti Airtel. There's some news flow around it, so that's also there. We're seeing a 77-point contribution total. So pretty much looks like a broad-based kind of a increase in the markets today. Let's also pull up the mid-cap contributors and see what is kind of taking the index up today. If we can have the mid-cap contributors as well. Yes, it's up 0.6%, but the gainers on the mid-cap index, if we can have that, yeah, we have the likes of Gujarat Gas, Biocon and Polycab. Now, Gujarat Gas has been seeing some gains after its results, but that was a week ago. But since then, it's been on a gaining streak. So that's pretty much where we're at. However, we're focusing on LIC today. Now, LIC, according to, I think on Friday, it came out with a notification that said that it's going to get about 21,740 crores as a refund from the IT department. Now, this is not the first one. They've come out with a similar sort of a refund earlier as well. However, we've also seen a strong uptick in the LIC stock, and if you can see, if we pull up the last 1 month of the LIC, we can see it's gained about 17%, and 12 months it's up 75%. It's crossed the 1,000 rupees mark. Now, Gaurang, I'll come to you on LIC. Do you think there's more upside to the stock left, or based on the fundamentals, of course, or has the rally, we've seen the best of it and it's time to maybe book some profits in the stock?
Thank you, Smriti, for having me on the show, and morning to all of you. So, give me 30 seconds to answer this, please. We had our coverage during the IPO. The IPO was at 900 plus, 930 or 40 rupees. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then after listing, there was a lot of hue and cry on the street when the IPO was going to hit the market on the street. And then, of course, we saw the listing, and for a prolonged period of time, the share traded below the IPO price. So as a brokerage house, we at Geojit Financial Services remain positive on the life insurance sector, and along with LIC, we have coverage on SBI Life, HDFC Life and ICICI Prudential Life. We also believe that the entire approach, which was earlier the pandemic, in terms of you take a term insurance so that you can save a tax. But now, post the pandemic, I think wisdom has prevailed upon a lot of people. Not only are they taking insurance policy, but also they are taking higher sum assured. And because of that, the premium outflow from the person who takes an insurance to the insurance company is very, very high. And that's going to be a huge positive even as we go into the future. So we remain positive. Because the stock has run up, you might see intermediate bouts of profit booking. But from a long-term point of view, we remain positive on all these four names.
It's not often that the reason for absence is as visibly described as it was right now. But it is, in fact, good to be back, as I was pointing out. Gaurang as well as Rajesh, thanks so much as always, for taking the time, and good morning to the both of you. Let's jump straight into the questions, and we've got a lot that have already started pouring in. The first one that we're taking today is from Mohit, and he's writing in from Ludhiana. He's asking about Trident, which he has bought at a very low price. When it was, of course, a penny stock. It has gained since that point, and it's currently trading at 45 or thereabouts. He's bought at levels of 3.9. His outlook is slightly longer. I am going to go to Rajesh, you on the technicals though. How does it look on the charts on the longer term time frames?
Good morning. Looking at the near-term, short-term structure, stock is looking positive. On the long-term chart, yes. On the monthly chart also, we have seen a breakout in the previous month, and stock is now consolidating post that breakout. So looking at the short to medium-term perspective, he can hold it. But for long-term perspective also, he can hold the position as there is a strength on a monthly chart. And looking at the breakout, we believe that till the stock is holding above 40 level, possibly again the stock may exhibit some amount of rally towards 58 to 65, but it may take time. It's a slow mover stock. Has given a breakout of long consolidation, so maybe in a couple of months we can see a target towards 60. Keep your stop loss at 40 to hold position.
All right, understood. Next up, we have a question on SJVN. This one's from Visu. He's written to us on YouTube, and he's already bought the stock at the current price. And he wants to know if he should continue holding on to it. Now, Gaurang, based on the fundamentals, how does SJVN look?
So let me give you a brief outlook on the entire power generation sector, Smriti. And at Geojit, we believe that all the power generating companies. Now, this is not a straight away recommendation. I'm just mentioning the names which are into this power generation. So your names like SJVN, NHPC, your names like Tata Power, Torrent Power, NTPC, CSC, and others. All these companies, and especially NHPC as well as SJVN, if you see over a long period of time, these stocks were also languishing at around about 30, 40, 50 rupees for a prolonged period of time. And then whatever changes the government did for the entire power generation, transmission, distribution, and power equipment sector has resulted in the kind of performance that we've seen in all the power generating companies. Not a straight away recommendation, but yes, SJVN, one can see, I mean, there is no doubt, any stock which goes up in a matter of 3 months, 6 months period, you do get profit booking into that stock. But we are extremely positive on the power generation pack. The names that we are positive on, coverage fundamentally, Tata Power, Torrent Power, NTPC, CSC. These are some of the power generating companies that we are positive. But these companies are also, more than that, they are government-owned companies. So definitely that looks to be a very promising future.
While we're at it, why don't we also discuss the power finance companies, and among them a new entrant to the stock markets, IREDA, is something that we've discussed often on this platform as well. It's a stock that has gained quite significantly, Gaurang. And some people have said that along with it, it has fueled PFC REC as well, because those that did not get IREDA because of the prospects of the space have jumped into PFC REC. At least that's one theory. We've got Murli Krishna from Mumbai, who's got allotment, I think, at the IPO stage, and he's looking to hold for at least a year more. The question is, should he take some money off the table, considering that the stock has risen quite substantially? Gaurang, an extension to the conversation you were having just now about power.
So I think if power generating, we are positive, Alex. Power finance project companies will also do well, because eventually you will need financing and financial closures for creating new infrastructure. And with the kind of capacity that the government has lined up, almost about 500 gigawatts to be in the next 3 to 5 years. Most of it is going to be solar, wind. Some of it is going to be hydro. So, and maybe a small part is going to be coal-fired. But, if new projects are going to come up as far as power generating capacities are concerned, power finance companies are also likely to do well. So we had coverage on PFC a while back. We have removed the coverage. Now we don't have it. On IREDA, I was listening into the commentary from the management post listing, and I was very impressed in terms of the entire lineup in terms of order book that is in front of them. Stock came out with an IPO very recently. I think the floor was 30 or 36 rupees. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alex. And from that level, we saw almost 200 rupees, and then we saw circuit up, circuit down. in terms of valuation, it looks a little bit expensive given the kind of earnings that we already have in the backdrop. And if in stock market, you invest so that you want to earn some profit on your investments. And when you're getting a decent profit, you should never feel shy to book that profit.
Okay, got it. Next up, we have a question from Uday Shivkumar. This one's on Union Bank of India. They bought the shares at 40 rupees. It's currently trading around 140. Rajesh, from a technical standpoint, do you think there's more upside into the stock, or should one book maybe half the profits and keep holding on to the rest of it?
So very strong rally we have seen in most of the PSU bank. If you talk about Union Bank, stock is in process of forming a rounding bottom kind of formation on a longer term chart. Looking at the longer term time frame, yes, he can hold the position as overall structure is turning on the bullish side for long term structure. Also, even on the short term time frame, also there was a corrective move since last couple of weeks, but still stock is holding the ground on the near term chart, and stock is comfortably holding above 50-day, 100-day moving average. That clearly shows that yes, we may again see a buying interest to continue in the stock, and possibly Union Bank can move further higher. So we expect that till stock is holding above 130 level, possible target on the higher side we can see towards 165 to 170 in short period of time. So hold is the recommendation at this moment for Union Bank.
Got it. Gaurang, coming back to you, Natco Pharma is the name of the counter, and we've got a question coming from Babu. He's been holding since IPO, and he's wondering whether to keep holding. The stock is, of course, up and about in trade today as well. It's up about 4.5%. Gaurang, what's the view on Natco
Sorry,
Pharma?
Alex, Sorry. So on the fundamental side, we have coverage on Natco Pharma, and the stock was in the news for some good and bad news put together. He's got in at, I believe, IPO price. I don't even remember what the floor was because it must be quite some time back. At current levels, I think where the stock is trading, if he's not in need of money, Alex, if he doesn't, and if he's got time by his side, he can give a little bit of more time, or else maybe he can possibly consider part profit booking in case if he needs the money. But we have a positive coverage on Natco Pharma from a long-term point.
Okay. Next up, we are talking about Azad Engineering. This one's from Rakesh Arora. They've already bought the shares at 600, and it's a recent listing, Gaurang. If you can give us your view from a fundamental standpoint, I think it's been doing quite well. It's if you look at the share, it's up about 77% in the last 1 month itself.
Yeah, it's a recent listing and one of niche plays in terms of the sector that it is associated with. Unfortunately, Smriti, we didn't have a coverage, nor do we have a fundamental coverage. I won't be able to give out specific in terms of buy, sell, and hold, but it's a promising company in terms of future. And post the listing and before the IPO was going to hit the street, the management was very optimistic as far as the business prospects are concerned. Unfortunately, no coverage, so no specific comments.
Okay, fair point. Sula Vineyards is a stock that is moving quite a bit in trade today. In fact, let's pull up the intraday chart just to give you an inkling of the kind of movement in the price. It is down about 6.9% and very close to the low point of the day. There are apparently very large trades that are taking place in this particular counter or have taken place in the very recent past. The question is coming in from Karthik. He's writing in from Visakhapatnam, and he's asking about whether or not he should average or add more at the current levels. He's currently holding, but he's not told us what level he is holding at, and he's in it for the long term. So I will ask Rajesh on the charts, is this an opportune moment based on the price action to enter, or do you think you should wait for a little longer?
So since last couple of weeks, some supply pressure is taking place in the stock. Now in this process, stock is now almost trading near to its 50-day moving average. So if it slips below to 570 mark, then possibly we can see further lower level towards 535 also, as near-term trend is on the slightly on the bearish side. So I think he should wait for another 1 or 2 trading session. If it breaks below 570, I think then possibly 535 would be the level where he can try to buy or average some of the quantity in the decline. If at all stocks not breaks below 570, some pullback we can see towards 600, 610. That's the major challenging level at this moment for near-term setup. Until the stock not crosses above 610, it may remain in consolidation for some time. So I think wait for dip towards 540, 535 to add further position in the decline one.
All right, so those are the levels to watch out for in Sula if you want to add more of it. Now we'll slip into a short break, but after the break we'll take more of your questions. So stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit, and we're in the midst of the queries that we've been taking from social media. And in case you've got a question for us, you can send them to us on our WhatsApp number, which is on your screen right now. The next one is on MRF, and it is not a stock that everyone can buy, mostly because of the ticket price, which is currently at very close to 1.5 lakh. And I must admit that when it crossed that 1 lakh mark, I thought, how far can it go? Gaurang, it's defied any expectations of when it's going to stop. Because the stock has gained about 37 odd percent in that 6-month period, 38%. The question is, where does it go from here? Would you buy right now if you have the ability to? Vijay Kumar is asking what the target is for about a year down the line.
Alex, honestly speaking, I think when the stock was at about 15 or 20,000 rupees, we had coverage on MRF. Our targets were in place, and where the stock is trading right now is way beyond the targets that we had in mind. So currently, we don't have any coverage. I will not be able to answer this particular question right away in form of buy, sell, hold. But let me say this: it's one of the best placed companies in the auto tire manufacturing, that is auto ancillary sector. Point number two, based out of South India, has a huge rubber plantation, which is the core commodity to make a car tire or maybe an automobile tire. Has large presence not only in India but also in overseas market. Unfortunately, I will not be in a position to give a straight out buy, sell, and hold because we don't have a coverage. But it's a very strong balance sheet.
Rajesh, anything to add on the technicals? And I do understand that even from your perspective, it's a little challenging considering that it's not a stock that is very that sees high volumes at all.
Yeah, very thinly traded counter, and those who are looking to invest for a longer term perspective, they only generally participate in these kind of stock when market gives you opportunity in volatile market, like if you get any kind of significant dip or corrective move, then it's a stock again to keep in their long term portfolio, because across all time frame stock is moving in all showing the strength, and I think buy on dip should be your always a strategy in these kind of stock. On looking at the near term short term structure, 1,44,000 is the immediate support area on the near term perspective. So if you get any opportunity around those level for near term trading perspective, you can buy around those level. And again, trend is likely to continue further higher, and we can see further more higher level as overall structure is still in the bullish trajectory.
Right. Next up, we have a question from Devang, and they're talking about two counters, Rajesh. The first one is DCW, that they've bought at 61 levels. It's currently below that price. And the second one is KCP Sugar, that they bought at 43 levels, and that the current price is below that as well. What would you suggest Devang to do with it? Any specific targets that they should look out for?
So DCW is in a corrective move. Stock is now trading near to its important and critical support area of 58. So that level needs to watch. If it's hold those levels, some pullback action we can see. On the higher side, 65, 66 is the immediate hurdle. So where one can look to book profits.
Understood. Sankara Kumar is writing from Chennai. He's asking about Endurance Technologies, which he's bought at levels of 1,786, and he's asking whether to hold or sell. Gaurang, do you have any coverage on this one, and would you suggest holding on?
Well, it's one of the niche plays again, likes of Endurance Technologies, Dixon Technologies, Amber Enterprises, just to name a few companies which are into niche segments. So on Endurance Tech, we have a fundamental buy coverage. We remain extremely positive on the long-term prospects of the company. And post the third quarter numbers, the verbatim that was given out by the management in terms of business outlook, that looks very, very strong. So if you have a long-term investment, or if you're planning to buy it in your portfolio from a long-term perspective, I think we should definitely do that, or even hold the stock in case if you already invested.
Got it. Next up, we're talking about Nalco. Now, this stock has gained in the last couple of days after its third quarter earnings. It's up about 16% in the last 5 sessions itself. But, Gaurang, would you suggest buying at this point?
I'm sorry, which is the name of the company?
Nalco, National Aluminium Company.
Well, at current, see, if you have it already, you can definitely continue to hold it. We have coverage on Nalco. And in terms of the outlook of business, I was reading a report and the management was mentioning about some amount of offtake picking up steam as far as the products are concerned. If you want to add to the stock, you can definitely add to it, but at a lower level, I think you can definitely add to the stock, or if you want to make a new investment. But if you already invested at lower level, you can continue to hold the stock.
Unfortunately, there's not going to be enough time for another question, but I'll quickly take a view on the benchmark and where it's heading today. Rajesh, I know it's hard on a day when it's making new fresh highs, but what's the likelihood of ending at a fresh record today?
So Alex, Nifty manages to cross its call concentration area of 22,100. So if it's hold those levels, then possibly this really can extend. 22,300 is the possible target we can see in next coming trading session. So I think till Nifty is holding about 22,100, one should be on the buying side of the market. Even on the Bank Nifty also, 46,500, that's the important level on spot. And now comfortably, Bank Nifty is also holding those ground. So I think these two levels are very important to continue this uptrend. If it's a hold 46,500, then possible target for Bank Nifty, we can see towards 46,800 to 47,000 also. So both indices are looking bullish, long built-up setup is there. So I think one can hold their long position. We see that this momentum can extend further in next couple of days also.
All right. Thank you so much, Rajesh and Gaurang, for joining in and for answering so many questions for us. And viewers, thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back tomorrow, same time at 11:30 a.m. But stay tuned, lots more coming up on NDTV Profit.